Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Best Olympic track and field event.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Mark, we're preempting what was supposed to be a month full of food episodes because it's the Olympics.
I know it is. And I love the Olympics. And I know you love the Olympics.
I do.
And we've done Olympic episodes on this show before. So,
yeah.
You know what? We're going to get out of the kitchen and onto the track this week. We'll get back to food later. Don't worry, everybody. We mistimed our food court month.
Yeah, we're going to put aside the Eat Olympics for the Olympics.
Ooh, I like the Olympics. And not only are we going to talk about the Olympics, we're going to talk about this. To me feels like of all of your organs in your body, one of them gets to be called the liver. Like, really, you're the organ that gets to, that's what you do is you make someone live. This is in the Olympics, track and field is called athletics, which I think is great that it's like all the other Olympic sports. It feels like a middle finger to all the other Olympic sports to call track and field. Well, that's athletics.
We saw the dude who won silver in the air pistol, who just showed up with his glasses.
That guy is the greatest. Hand in his pocket, in jeans, I believe. Jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Here's my theory about that guy.
Go ahead.
He's a born supremacy.
And he was activated just for the Olympics?
Yeah. He was like, well, no, the Olympics is his thing that he does just for fun. Like, he does the Olympics for fun. Like, it would not surprise me if he was standing on the podium to get his silver medal and then a laser dot appeared on him and he leapt onto a helicopter that would just carried him away, or he just disappeared into a crowd somehow from standing at a podium. Suddenly he was gone. Like, he might be an asset, is my point.
Feels like the wrong event if you're a born identity, born supremacy, born legacy, born. Because people will look at it and go, is that person a born?
He might be a born.
Kayak.
Yeah, nobody's going, that kayaker is so fast, I bet he's a born.
I want to do the kayak slalom. Did you watch the kayak slalom?
What is kayak slalom? There's so many bonkers events and I love it.
I want you to imagine you're in your kayak. You take a little conveyor belt to the top. You hold on to two cushions and they tell you to go and you're off. You have to go through these little hanging gates. So you have to make sure your head goes around them. Then the green ones you just go through. The red ones you have to paddle upstream and get around. So they'll like go by it and then move with their head so that it counts. And then you go through like these man-made rapids. And whoever gets down the fastest does it. It's fascinating.
It's a video game. So many of these sports now have become like video games. And I would argue that one of my favorite track and field events, we will get into it when we get into the different categories of track and field event. But there is something that feels so old school side scroller Super Mario about steeplechase.
Well, first of all, it's humans racing like horses. Number two, do you remember Konami's track and field from 1988?
Of course I do, because I would use the NES Max with it, and I would just hold down the button instead of rapidly pushing the button, and I would win. It was whoever had the NES Max or the NES Advantage won track and field.
Or if you're playing with the power pad, you get on your knees and you bongo the things to run fast.
Yeah. It's, you know what? Look, it's all about finding the tricks that make it technically correct. Like that javelin or like that, kayak head wobble.
Jennifer, here's a fun fact. Jennifer is a huge steeplechase fan because there are two runners that she follows who are both steeplechase racers that she's been following. So I have followed them and they'll compete in other events in the lead up, at different cities. But that was their main event. That was their Olympic event, was the steeplechase, which if you don't know, you race. There are regular hurdles.
28. There are 28 obstacles.
But one of the obstacles, the 28th obstacle that you pass is a really large hurdle over a puddle. So you go over the hurdle into the puddle and then you keep running. That is what a horse jumps over. It is a horse jump. They make people do horse jumps.
Look, if they're going to make people do horse jumping in the steeplechase event, why don't they just make people do other horse things like human dressage?
Or why not make the horses run a 100-meter sprint on their
make the horse
legs.
Chuck a javelin.
Like, you know how they do the thing where they go
hooves in the air.
Yeah, the front hooves go up. They have to do that for 100 meters and run and you race the horses. I bet they could do it.
I bet they could. Do you know where steeplechase got its name, by the way?
From somebody trying to chase a church.
It was close. It was running from church steeple to church steeple because this was in the UK way back in the day. That was the race. It was, I will race you from this church steeple to that church steeple, because whatever the obstacles are that are in the way because the steeple was the easiest thing to see. It was like a 2-mile run, which now the modern steeplechase is 3,000 meters, which is, it's about 2 miles, right? Somewhere around there. A little less, maybe.
Yeah, right around. Close to.
Yeah, so you're running from church to church. There's another great British Isles origin for another one of these events that, we'll get to a little later, that I've come across as pretty fun. But how do you want to break this down? Because it really is, we've got combined events, running events, throwing events is pretty much the list. And jumping events. You
got jumps, sprints, middle and long distance runs.
Mm-hmm.
You have all your tossing stuff. And then you have the combined, the decathlon and the heptathlon. Decathlon is exclusive to men, heptathlon exclusive to women.
Are they exclusive to one? I thought there was a men's heptathlon and a women's heptathlon.
No.
And it's really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I would say, generally, the winners of those events are declared the greatest athlete on the planet. And then whoever wins the 100 meters is the fastest person. That's a woman. Nobody has broken. Usain Bolt still owns the world record in the 100 meter sprint. Right now.
But we have the American, is
Noah Lyles.
Noah Lyles is crazy fast. He's the current world's fastest man, right?
Correct.
But he didn't beat Usain Bolt. He didn't beat Usain Bolt's record?
They're not contemporaries. No, they weren't.
Right, I know Usain Bolt was a while ago.
Usain Bolt has set a record that nobody has beaten yet. He owns the world record. So you have year by year, each year from people competing, there's who's the fastest. But the fastest all time is still Usain Bolt. I mean, and
we've got Sha'Carri
Richardson.
Richardson is our fastest female runner.
Yes, she's the star.
America's got the world's fastest man and the world's fastest woman currently.
Right now,
yes.
But we'll see
and also,
what happens.
Those two are so fun. Have you been watching the Olympics?
Not only have I been watching the Olympics, I haven't seen them compete yet. So don't tell me what happens because
they haven't really started. They've only done like prelims for track and field at the point that we're recording right now.
But we have watched the Netflix series Sprint, which follows sprinters and centers mostly on Noah Lyles and Sha'Carri Richardson. So you really see them compete, what goes into it. He pulls off the double, which is a big deal, which is to win both the 100 and 200 meter sprint, which are completely different races. Here's what's interesting.
Please make running interesting to me, by the way.
Here's what's fascinating to me. And it's like any sport. A sport becomes interesting to you, much like anything does, the more you know about it. Because from the outside, if you are into comics, somebody could easily dismiss comics as it's just a bunch of silly drawings and weird people with powers or whatever. But that is simplifying something that's extremely complex, that is not monolithic, that, the more you learn about it, the more you may like it. Running, the skills you need to be successful at 100 meters might hurt you in 200 meters. The things that make you successful in 200 meters might hurt you in 100 meters. So 100 meters is really all about the start, how you get off the blocks. If you don't get a good start, you will lose. And then from there, so they all start like lower, and then you see them they stand more erect as they go into their like full sprint. You have to beat everybody off the blocks or have the most incredible finish possible. But you only have 100 meters to do it. In 200 meters, you can't, if you put a 200 meter runner in 100 meters, they might not start as well. If you put a 100 meter runner in with 200 meters, they may not be able to keep up.
They've burned all their octane.
Sprinting. Yeah, they're used to racing half that distance. So the skills you need, they're almost opposite one another. And that fascinates me. Middle distance also, marathon even more so. But I think the marathon is really boring to watch. There's no way marathon wins.
There's no way that marathon wins. Marathon is impressive and very cool and very fun. Especially, if there were any marathon that I would like to see, it would have been the marathon in St. Louis at the Olympics in 1904. Do you know what happened at the St. Louis Olympics marathon in 1904?
What happened?
Not only did the fourth place finisher, Felix Carvajal, hitchhike his way to St. Louis after losing his money gambling in New Orleans, and he arrived in street shoes and long pants, chatted with spectators mid-race, diverted from the course because he wanted to go into an apple orchard that he saw, and still finished fourth. Another competitor was chased into a cornfield by two dogs. But my favorite bit about this is that American Frederick Lorse was the first man to cross the finish line until they discovered that he had hitchhiked for 11 miles of the marathon. And later, American Thomas Hicks was crowned the winner. That's I want my version of a marathon to be a steeplechase marathon. I want dogs chasing you into cornfields. I want enticing apple orchards. You know what I want? I want just a free roller coaster.
Yeah.
Off to one side and come on. Just like you want to go ride on it. Yeah. The cyclone is waiting for you. Like just an all distractions marathon would be amazing.
Like Bugs Bunny to design a marathon. There's like a tent with a flashing free money sign above it.
Well, exactly. I don't want Wile E. Coyote to design it because then it would just be little sticks that said free birdseed pointing to a pile of birdseed on the ground, which is not going to entice me. I want Bugs Bunny dressed like with a fruit hat, like, what's her name? Carmen Miranda.
Carmen Miranda.
Coming out and come here, big boy. Can't right now, miss. I've got to run a race. Yeah, I want full Bugs Bunny style distractions along the whole route. Also, the marathon there's not really much suspense in it because, spoiler alert, the Kenyon's probably going to win.
Here's the problem with longer distance runs. Mm-hmm. And yes, Kenyons tend to be incredible long distance runners.
Their team is unbelievable.
Jamaica is home to some of the best sprinters in history, although America also has a good tradition. There are some great people in Great Britain. Like there are people all over the world. There was an Italian guy who won the 100 meters in 2020 that then sort of fell off because it's very hard to, imagine you reach the peak of your sport.
Yeah.
You can lose focus, but a lot of the longer distances are not as exciting to watch until you hear that bell clang, which means they're in their final lap and watch.
That's when I'll come back from the kitchen and watch.
You'll see though throughout the race, packs start to form. You'll see the people who really don't have a chance to win. Then you'll see maybe 5 to 8 people jockeying for position that almost always gets down to 3 or 4 or maybe 2. And then you get to that last straightaway and you watch these runners who have been running in a pack start to open up their stride. And there was a woman whose name, forgive me, I think she might be from Ethiopia, who won a few long distance.
The heptathlon winner?
She might have been the heptathlon winner. She won a few medals, but watching her when she opened up her stride at the end, like she's clearly faster than everybody there. It looks like she's putting forth it looks effortless. Like the best runners in the world in long distance, it almost looks effortless and they're working so hard. The amount of energy I have to put out to run at a 7-minute mile pace is like, I can do it for maybe 30 seconds. 30 seconds. They're keeping up a faster pace for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I try to do, when I do the treadmill, I try to do the run really, really hard and then walk and then run really, really hard and then walk. But the ratio of those times is like 15 seconds, 9 minutes, 15 seconds, 9 minutes. So it comes in bursts for me. Let me ask you this. So if we're talking about pulling the best running race out of the running races to be our finalist for the best track and field event, you mentioned that it's even of the mid-distance ones, the marathon is not going to win. It's too long.
Correct.
And I'm viewing that. I'm thinking of this, by the way, as a spectator, obviously, because that's what we are at the Olympics. It's not, we are not professional distance runners. We don't, We don't have all the ins and outs. For us, it's when that bell rings, now we're going to come watch because they're on the last little bit of it. So is our running victor going to probably be either the 100 or the 200 meters, the sprints, because there's all that anticipation built up and then boom. And I would argue perhaps that it's the 200 because maybe the 100 is over too soon, just as a viewer.
The 100 though is really incredible. They're both.
It is. It's incredible. It's the world's fastest person.
The 400 is also really impressive to watch. And then you have the
400 is 4x400 is
the relay.
Is what? It's four people doing 400. Four people doing one lap each.
Yes.
Gotcha. So for what it's worth, to throw it out there into the mix, have you ever heard the word stadion? Do you know what a stadion is?
No.
The stadion in the first Olympic Games ever, about 700 BC in Athens, something like that. The stadion was the only event, and the stadion was a 200-meter run. That was it. All of the fanfare, all of the pomp and circumstance that surrounds the Olympics was for one event, and it was the length of the stadium. That was it. The Olympic Stadium was 200 meters. They built a whole stadium. Everybody came from all over Greece. All the Peloponnesians have shown up with their families and their coolers full of snacks. Mm-hmm. And they're all piling in. Miles and miles and miles they came.
Yeah.
And they all packed into the stadium, watched one 200-meter race, which was won by Coribus. Shout out to Coribus.
Yeah, big fan.
And then they all went home.
Do you have a Coribus jersey still? I know you used to have one that hung in the background over there.
I used to have a Coribus jersey. The thing is, it was an authentic Coribus jersey, and I did not have humidity or temperature or light controlled, so it just disintegrated. That's why I have that empty frame behind me.
Oh, well, I had a pair of his sandals.
Oh, yeah?
And the museum that I took them from said, you can't just have what you want from any museum. I was like, oh, really? Does that mean I have to give this Magritte back to the Art Institute in Chicago?
I hate it when they do that. I hate it when they do that. Don't do that.
They say do not touch. They don't say do not take.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can take it without touching, like I'm certain you can, I don't know how, but I'm certain you can because you're Hal Lublin.
Two of those grabbers that
the T-Rexes use
on either side. Yeah. The ones that T-Rex used to
on that t-shirt.
They used to catch other dinosaurs. That's based on history.
Oh, okay.
They were actually the original grabbers too. I took those from the Museum of Natural History in New York.
Wow. I'm impressed that you got those.
Used another pair.
So that would be my argument for it being the 200 meters. I think the argument for it being the 100 meters is the world's fastest person. And that comes with such a fun, unofficial, but really fun title. You know what I mean? If you win the 100, Sha'Carri Richardson wins the 100. Boom. World's fastest woman.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those two though. Hold on.
The relays.
We haven't really dug into relays because so many of these sports are individual sports for track and field. Is there something to be said for 4 people having to work together? Oh, man, that's tough. That is really
very
fun.
Impressive. There's strategy to it as to who your anchor is at the end.
Yeah.
Successfully handing off the baton while getting up to full speed. I mean, like the entire process of it is fascinating. It is high skill.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you got, again, Usain Bolt involved in the 4x100.
Yeah.
Helping to win gold for Jamaica. And it was an event that the U.S. kind of owned.
Mm-hmm.
They won at 15 out of 23 Olympics up until 2000. They won.
No
the gold.
kidding.
Yeah.
There's something cool about there's the nice thing about the 4x400 relay is almost at the 4x100, which would be an amazing relay if it was just 400. Wait, there's a 4x100?
Yes, there's a 4x100.
So there's 4 100-yard dashes?
Yep. 4x100, 4x400.
But the sprint, like you've just barely started to sprint before you're handing off the baton.
Well, they are going really fast.
But the point I'm making is that the baton handoff moment is such a harrowing binary. Will it happen? Will they drop it? Yeah. So that brief moment that happens each time is a really fun additional little moment within the race. I mean, I don't know, then maybe it is the 4. I didn't know the 4x100 was even a thing. You know a lot more about Olympic running than I do.
Yeah.
4x100 set, like if a 100-yard dash is the world's fastest person, then you have 4 of the world's fastest people also with 3 of that passing the baton moment. I don't know. I kind of love that.
It is cool. I think it's hard to take anything out of running that isn't the 100 meters. It's such an important race.
Yeah.
It takes
world's fastest person.
Less than 10 seconds. The men take less than 10 seconds. The women are very close to that. They're all insanely fast. And it's just, it is the signature race. Is that sprint is like, all the events are great. They're all worth your attention. If you have Peacock, you can watch any of them anytime, which I have been. Love it. The 100 meters is like the signature race. That's the reason why everybody knows Usain Bolt.
Yeah, I think that's, all right. That's fair. So coming out of our racing category or our running category all right. There's a couple of the outlier ones we'll get back to because they involve multiple things.
You want to take a break and come back?
Yeah, let's take a quick break. Outliers? So the running goes to the 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
Or 100-meter dash. I call it, I know it's the 100-meter sprint.
Yeah.
I call it a 100-yard dash because that's what we did in elementary school, was a 100-yard dash.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I like calling it a dash too because it doesn't sound like you're running to something. It sounds like you're running from something.
I know you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You can call it that, but the rest of us will call it the 100-meter sprint. So
100-yard dash.
Know what we're talking about.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back.
I'm Jesse Thorne.
I just don't want to leave a mess.
This week on Bullseye, Dan Aykroyd talks to me about the Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters, and his very detailed plans about how he'll spend his afterlife.
I think I'm going to roam in a few places, yes. I'm going to manifest and roam.
All that and more on the next Bullseye from MaximumFun.org and NPR.
Hello, teachers and faculty. This is Janet Varney. I'm here to remind you that listening to my podcast, The JV Club with Janet Varney, is part of the curriculum for the school year. Learning about the teenage years of such guests as Allison Brie, Vicki Peterson, John Hodgman, and so many more is a valuable and enriching experience. One you have no choice but to embrace because, yes, listening is mandatory. The JV Club with Janet Varney is available every Thursday on Maximum Fun or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you. And remember, no running in the halls.
Okay, what are the outliers that you wanted to talk about?
The outliers I wanted to talk about are they're not quite running events entirely, and they're not quite jumping events entirely.
Race walking?
Well, we'll talk about race walking in a second. Yeah, you know what? I'll add race walking to the outliers list. And I'm thinking the hurdles, the steeplechase, and race walking. I believe we talked about race walking when we did best Summer Olympic sport in its entirety. Race walking, look, I get it. I get that it's a thing, but it feels like it's so artificially self-imposed impaired.
Right.
Like, okay, who's the fastest person in the world at doing this big list of rules?
Yep.
Like you always have your front leg or the leg that touches the ground always has to be straight when it touches the ground. You have to always have at least one foot on the world's fastest person is so much easier.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though I do like the little sachet that happens in race walking.
It's very funny.
It's very funny the way they look.
It's very pleasing to watch it. The hurdles are interesting. They are a test of dexterity. It is also hilarious to watch somebody jump successfully, but the hurdle go down. It is very frightening to watch a person go down.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're okay, maybe you laugh a little bit. But honestly, even at that point, you're not really laughing at it because somebody has trained 4 years for that moment. And
they just snag their toe. Yeah.
Sucks. Absolutely sucks.
Look, of the outliers, it's got to be steeplechase for the aforementioned reasons of it's a side scroller Super Mario game or it's Pitfall. It's a human horse race. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So our two contenders so far are the 100-yard dash and human horses.
Human horse race. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about throwing stuff?
Oh, man, I want to talk about throwing stuff.
We got 4 events here. We have the javelin, the discus, the shot put, and the hammer throw.
Yeah. Which one of these do you think is the oldest, Hal?
I would assume the oldest is the javelin.
You are correct. Homer wrote about the shot put, that happening in 13th century BC. Greece, but it's nothing compared to the 400,000-year-old javelins that have been found in the something lithic or paleo-neo something. Yeah. One of the old Stone Ages. That's how far back. But look, I mean, it makes sense. Throwing a stick at dinner, at potential dinner. Yeah. You had to practice.
Right.
And how long do you think it was before one caveman turned to another caveman and went, bet me throw farther?
30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Want throw? Practice throw. What mean practice? We have no word for practice.
2 other cavemans are here off to the side saying, they have opposable thumbs and opposable skills. We are all here together for the first ever javelin toss. Originally aiming at that saber-toothed tiger over there, but dinner has been put aside in the name of sportsmanship. Hi, I'm Al Michaels the First.
Ock. Hello, Al Michaels the First.
Call me Ock.
Going by Ock these days. That's ridiculous, and I love it. So yeah, javelin is fun. Javelin is fun to watch because it's especially when they get like their toes right up to that line. Javelin is far. Javelin is scary. It's a big, pointy hunting stick. It is as primal as an event gets.
Yeah.
But my question, I told you that I was going to bring this back to the British Isles. Does the 400,000-year-old sport of javelin beat that sport that was mythologically at least invented when Cuchulainn of Ireland, famous demigod warrior, picked up the axle and wheel of a chariot, swung it around and threw the whole thing, leading to, of course, the invention of the hammer throw, which it's not really a hammer. It's a big, long steel wire with a big steel ball at the end. It was a hammer back in the 1870s. It was a sledgehammer that was used. But does the ancient javelin beat the absolute chaos that is watching someone throw a hammer?
They do spin.
They spin 3 to 5 full rotations. 5 is rare. It's generally 3 or 4, but full rotations while swinging a 16-pound hammer and then just release. Like, I understand once you're at the Olympic level that hammer is going to land on the field. Before you get to the Olympic level,
for sure,
that hammer is landing anywhere.
Yeah. I run around an active soccer field every morning. And when there are kids there playing soccer and training, I was like, it's just a matter of time. Just assume a ball's going to hit you in the back of the head. It's going to happen. Don't get mad. Don't take the ball and kick it up the hill like you want to.
Did it happen yet?
Let them do it. No, it hasn't happened yet. But sometimes they're aiming and the ball will roll out onto the running track that is a different color. It's not part of the soccer field. Listen, if you listen to this podcast and you use that field and you know which one I'm talking about, because maybe you are a fan of the podcast, but you're just nervous to talk to me, get your fucking ball off of the track. It's not where it goes.
Stop yelling at that kid. Also, stop swearing at that kid.
Okay, you're right.
By the way, did I tell you?
Yeah.
Speaking of fans of you and fans of shows, I was very excited. Annie and I went to get ice cream the other day, and there was a guy in there wearing a Night Vale shirt. Not a welcome to Night Vale shirt, a good morning Night Vale shirt.
Was it me?
It was not you. It was just a dude wearing a good morning Night Vale shirt. Anyway, I thought that was awesome.
Did you talk to him?
I said, great shirt, dude. He went, thanks. That was our entire conversation.
You didn't tell him that you were John Peters? You know, the farmer? He would have flipped out.
No, man. I like to stay incognito. I'm a born. Yeah.
Understood.
I can't tell people a lot of that stuff.
That's fair. That's fair. Not good for the career, but very, very good for being a born.
Sure. If you're a born, you have to do stuff like that. You make certain sacrifices if you're a born.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the javelin is the only one of these 4 throws that does not involve rotating and spinning around. Because you spin the shot put and you spin into the discus as well.
Yeah. Discus spinning was not a huge thing. That didn't happen until much later when someone was like, hey, if I spin around, I'll get momentum.
Yeah, but it's the commonly accepted way to do it. Everybody's spinning now. Nobody's like, I'll just play like Frisbee.
It's like going backwards over the pole vault. Like once somebody went backwards, now everybody goes backwards because you can get more height.
Exactly.
What do you think about the discus and the shot put?
First of all, how strong those people are to throw a shot put.
Those things are heavy and
like the hammer
very,
throw.
Very
also, they're all very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You do at a certain point, centripetal force is helping you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're further detached from it. The shot put is tucked under your arm. You're spinning everything and then you're screaming like someone has put electrodes on your nipples but you don't like that. And then turned it all the way up to 11 and like the scream that's emitted.
Yeah.
And the ball goes as far as it can, which you always are like, this person's going to throw it to the moon. And then it's a real heavy ball. So it doesn't go that far relatively.
Yeah.
Which tells you how heavy it is. There's something very impressive about that.
Sure. In the same way that running is the most basic of athletic things. It's like if the feats are faster, stronger, higher, right?
Right.
If it's faster, stronger, higher, the most basic version of that is fast, run, strong, throw a heavy rock, high, jump.
Were you referring to Citius Altius Fortius Communitaire?
Yeah.
The motto of the Olympics?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are them in their most basic form. In this particular case, though, I love the shot put.
Yeah.
I want that finesse of somebody doing the spinny move. I love the spinny.
They spin in shot put too. They have to spin.
mean, I'm talking hammer throw spinny. I'm talking big, crazy.
Around.
I don't want just I'm building up momentum for myself. I am wildly swinging this huge ball on a metal pole, and this could go anywhere.
Your timing does have to be good to release it at the right point.
Yeah.
It does it does involve a knowledge of physics that is very impressive. And I pushed for the 100-meter sprint that you call the dash. So I'm fine with all of these are great. I'm fine with the hammer throw winning.
The hammer throw, just for the sake of just pure chaos.
Does pole vault fit in with jumps, or does pole vault get a bye to the finals because it's really its own thing?
I think pole vault counts with the jumps. But that said, I guess it depends. Do you want there to be an extra finalist? Because I can tell you right now, in my opinion, if it's the jumpy ones, the pole vault has it.
The pole vault is, well, first of all, the long jump is super impressive. The triple jump also super impressive. I'm always amazed. I love watching those events. It feels like when you watch like Diamond League stuff, it focuses a lot more on the running, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, but what about all the stuff that's happening in the middle? There are incredible athletes in there.
The field part.
Thing, and we're not watching that because the races get all the attention.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve that attention. I'm saying that the jumps deserve it too. I think the high jump is so impressive. And the way that they run up to the bar, if you were to look at a video right now, it looks like they're sneaking up on it. Because the last 3 strides are so long that it looks like they're going like, doop, doop, doop. And then they jump and are able to get their whole body over this parallel bar without the aid of a pole to bring them up over.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The high jump is unreal that people can do it.
High jump is the higher of the faster, stronger, higher. You know what I mean?
Like video right now of somebody sneaking up on the high bar.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you on my screen.
Look it up real quick.
All right.
I want you to see it.
How do I Google this? High bar.
Just do high jump. Just put high jump and then YouTube, and somebody will show a high jump. You just have to see somebody run up. Folks, Mark I want to see the look on Mark's face. I'm going to live commentate it. He seems excited to be looking it up. Or he's humoring me. All right, he's finding the video. He's going to watch somebody sneak up on that bar like a cartoon crook with a giant bag that has a dollar sign on it over their shoulder.
All right, here's this Polish guy.
Here we go. He's gonna do the high jump. You'll see the last 3. He's going to sneak up on that bar. Don't let the bar hear you. It'll jump up.
Oh, man.
Right?
He did the sneak up on it. This guy did not do this. He did the sneak up at the very beginning. You mean like the like tiny feet?
There's that, but then the long strides at the end just feels like, oh, I'm trying to, don't hear me walk, jump.
Oh, this Polish guy he's just barreling straight toward it.
Is this the same guy who shoots the gun with the hand in his pocket?
Yeah. He's wearing jeans.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. He hitchhiked. Okay, here comes a Russian guy doing it.
Gonna jump.
Oh, yeah. He just did
Yeah, he snuck up on the bar.
He did the boing, boing, boing at the end. Yeah. It is, look, it's super fun to watch.
Yeah.
And boy, that guy just threw himself too.
Pole vault too. I love the pole vault. I love the
Here's
pole
the thing,
vault and the high jump.
The jumping ones, for me, I think it's a two-way race then, if this is the case. Because, first of all, there's one event to me that looks like I could do it. I'm like, that looks easy. They don't go that far. But then I tried it. And I was like, you know what is the absolute hardest thing in the world to do? Triple jump.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever physically tried to do a triple jump? I didn't even make it to the third part because I tripped and fell every time on the second. I'm like, this triple jump is easy. I would always just absolutely fail and eat it trying to do a triple jump.
I can't even get around my mind. Like I watch it and it makes sense that the human body can do that. And then I know if I tried to get mine to do it, that I would just fall straight over. I would not be able to.
I would never make it as far as the dirt part.
Yeah. That's the thing about the triple jump and long jump is it seems like, I mean, a long jump you could do. You would not do it near as well.
You're not doing nearly as far,
as top athletes. But you look at both of them and go like, I could do that. And there's something to that makes it's not as impressive to watch because somewhere in the back of your mind, you're like, I could do that. Even though I guarantee you super can't.
100%.
Pole vault and high jump don't have that.
No, because they're about the height. And running is about being fast. In the most basic sense to me, run faster, jump higher. It's not run faster, jump farther. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if the battle is between jumping farther and jumping higher, I want to see somebody jump higher.
Yes.
So but it comes down to high jump versus pole vault. One is just pure human body strength who can physically get their body the highest versus a Looney Tunes prison escape of an event. Pole vault to me is the most Looney Tunes of all of the events. And I love that about it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very much a Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Trying to land on the Roadrunner and smacking into a mesa.
Yeah. What do you think would happen if Wile E. Coyote were in the Olympics as a pole vaulter?
He would have a rocket pack on from Acme to help him go higher, but it would light at the wrong time and he would fly out of the stadium and then land back in the desert next to a pile of birdseed with a sign in it, which the Roadrunner would speed up and go beep, beep, and then eat all of the birdseed and run away.
And then right there at the end, gets hit with the hammer.
Yes, the hammer would fall on his head.
Yeah. Because it was the hammer that he previously threw, but secretly attached an Acme height lifter rocket to it.
You know.
So we never actually saw it land.
If you want a track and field meet with no winner, put Wile E. Coyote up against Goofy. No one will win. It'll just be the Failympics. Hashtag Failympics. I came up with that. Hashtag Failympics. That's ours.
How to Olympic.
TM.
God. All right. So what do you think or do you want to just send them both to the finals?
Send them both.
All right. So do we have any other category? Oh, we have the decathlon. Or do we count the decathlon and the heptathlon because they're not events? They are aggregates.
Well, to imagine. So Noah Lyles, what's great about him is he trains for 2 races and 2 races only.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, he was a 200-meter sprinter exclusively. That was his race. And then he started to move into 100 meters and just is great at it. Imagine, instead of training for that one event, you have to finish the 100 meters, the long jump, the shot put, the high jump, 400 meters, 110-meter hurdles, a discus throw, pole vault, javelin throw, and then 1,500 meters. You have to win the majority of those to win or score points by doing well in them. There's something to being able to master that many sports that so few people are able to do. That
Jim Thorpe did it.
really impressive.
But then he made $15 playing minor league baseball.
Pennsylvania's own. And professional football, which he paid them. The heptathlon, similarly, you have 100-meter hurdles, the high jump, shot put, 200 meters, then the long jump, javelin throw, and 800-meter run. And there may be a women's, there was a pentathlon and a triathlon for a while. There may be a decathlon now. There should be.
I think there is a women's decathlon.
There should be if there is not. It was the heptathlon and the decathlon. I was trying to look for it earlier and I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the heptathlon.
It's the heptathlon.
Yeah. Yes.
It feels like, because didn't we, when we did our best summer Olympic event last time, didn't we say it was the decathlon, which feels a little like cheating? Because you get 10 for the price of one. I think it was.
It might have been. I don't know. Ken, can you confirm that was what we did?
Oh, it was the pentathlon.
Pentathlon.
All right.
Pentathlon. That was the summer games sport that we selected.
But that still feels like cheating. Like, what's the best event? These 5 events. You know what I mean?
Okay. You want to take those both out?
I like the idea of it just being the best event. Okay. You know? Okay. Plus, it'll make this episode a little different.
No.
Right? No.
So then what are our finalists?
All right, here, are we down to the finalists now? I guess there's no other category. Because we have jumping, we have throwing, jumping, throwing, and 2 outliers. Running, jumping, throwing, and 2 outliers. So running is the 100-meter sprint. Jumping is the high jump.
Yes.
Throwing is the hammer throw.
Right.
And our 2 outliers are the steeplechase and the pole vault. Do you want to go old school and eliminate them back and forth until we're down to 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I go first?
Sure.
I'm going to eliminate the steeplechase because it is a horse race that they make humans run, which is, feels like an indignity to both humans and horses at the same time. Very impressive, but it's also, I feel like it's, even though it's probably not a relatively young sport, it feels relatively young in terms of people knowing about it. And you should check it out. It is a very impressive race to watch just because of how many different skills it involves at once. But it's just not, to me, it has I want something iconic. So I'm going to gently take that out of the running, knowing that I'm going to enjoy watching it later.
Yeah. It's going to look, all of these, even the ones that we didn't put in the finals, they're all so fun. Watch the Olympics, everybody. It's the whole world doing a thing together.
And even to just compete at that level is a huge deal.
Yeah, this is tough. So I'm looking at the 100-meter sprint, the hammer throw, the pole vault, and the high jump. I think I am going to eliminate, as much fun as it is to watch, with its bizarre storied history. I think there are 2 other Olympic events that are purer and one that is more fun even than the hammer throw to watch. So I'm going to eliminate the hammer throw.
Okay.
Which brings us down to the sprint, the high jump, and the pole vault.
I'm going to eliminate the pole vault.
Okay.
The reason why is it's really impressive. I just think there's something very pure in a track and field episode about the 2 finalists being a person running and a person jumping with nothing but their athletic skill to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes down to, I love the pole vault. It's so fun.
Good.
But yeah, I think it does. It comes down to the 100-meter sprint or the high jump. And I will posit this, Hal Lublin. The person that wins the 100-meter sprint is the world's fastest person.
Correct.
The person that wins the high jump is not referred to as the world's highest person. The world's highest person is currently at the Olympics, but that world's highest person is Snoop Dogg. The highest person at the Olympics is not the winner of the high jump. The highest person at the Olympics is Snoop Dogg, but the fastest person in the world is currently at the Olympics.
So there you go. People of the world, imagine having 9 to 12 seconds and training for 4 years and competing around the world for 4 years to be the best at it, to face off in the Olympics. You have the creme de la creme of these sprinters facing off. And in the blink of an eye, one of them has earned the title of the fastest man/woman/person, however you want to categorize it. It is so incredible to watch. And if you really pay attention to it, and I really do recommend that show Sprint, it is fantastic. You really get an appreciation for what it takes to be successful at that level. And anybody you see out there in those races can have their best day and win the gold and win that title. Anybody could do it.
Yeah.
But there are very few who you watch that are able to do it over and over and over again. And that's what makes people like Noah Lyles so much fun to watch outside of his sort of dedication to elevating the sport through his stardom and wanting to be the best ever. Sha'Carri Richardson also as well, like the personality and charisma that they bring in addition to their skill are
unapologetically great at it.
Yes. And it's important to the sport. It's important to bring in fans and bring in new people who may become the future stars of the sport, and for more people to watch it and more money to be allocated across all these countries for track and field. I mean, there are certainly countries that come into the Olympics at a huge disadvantage just because they don't have the resources that we do. And even our athletes aren't paid well. There was I think a rugby player who couldn't afford their rent. Flavor Flav had to help pay their rent. I can't remember what her sport was, what it was. I feel like it was, if it was.
Did you see that lady get lifted up by her pants in rugby?
No.
Man, one of her teammates, like she was going for a really high catch. She just, basically her teammate just gave her a wedgie and held her over her head. It was amazing. Go find that video.
They're so fun. If you're not watching 3x3 basketball, you're missing out on something incredible. It's so much fun to watch. Oh my goodness. The best track and field event at the Olympics is the 100-meter sprint asked and answered.
That's right. Woo. Who asked this one? Or was this on the list? It was Hal Lublin. You know what? Before we go then, because I don't know why this has been in my brain since I saw it in the Facebook group. This topic is closed. There are many more topics to discuss, including this very brief one.
Oh.
How many chuggas before a choo-choo? That, when I saw that question, that has been gnawing at me.
6.
Chugga. What?
Choo-choo. 3. Sorry, 3. I mean, 6 chuggas. Chugga. Choo-choo.
What? That seems out of the meter of music. I thought it was going to be either 4 or 8.
No. It's not music.
Chugga, choo-choo.
No.
Chugga, choo-choo. That's 4 chuggas.
That's too long.
Too long. We mean too long.
2 is too short. 4 is too long. 3 is just
You know what? I know there's a section underneath that for comments. I want to see what the people of the world have to say about that one.
Yeah, they're divided. I think pretty sure I said 6 chuggas in there. I got
6
involved.
6 chuggas is too many. 4 chuggas is 4 chuggas is maximum chugga.
Yeah, but then you also pitched 8 chuggas.
8 chuggas, 8. No, I ate 4 chuggas if you do them quick enough.
That's what I mean. I mean,
chugga,
3
chugga, choo, choo.
I meant 6 chuggas, 3 chuggas.
Chugga, choo. Ken just called us a pair of chuggalos. Yeah. That's right.
The gathering of the chuggalos.
Exactly.
Drinking Faygo with face paint on, going woo woo. So join us there, and then all we do, there's no wrestling and no bands playing. We all just get in like a human train and we go chugga chuggalo.
Chugga choo choo. You were you were down 1, Hal.
How many chuggas before a woo woo?
How many chuggalos can you fit into one? I'm going to guess, fairgrounds. That seems like a place.
The fairgrounds or a tire fire. Anywhere, Civic Arena.
How many chuggalos can fit around a barrel fire in fingerless gloves? I don't know why chuggalos have just become vintage Dickensian urchins to me.
Yeah. What?
Right, governor.
What do you think of these
Have you heard of the insane clown posse? Yeah.
Woot woot.
All right, this topic is closed. Maybe the chugga one isn't. Anyway, there are more topics to discuss, so please reach out to us via email at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com or
find us on the social medias at We Got This Podcast, with the exception of Instagram, where we are We Got This Show. And of course, the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/We Got This Podcast, is where all of you chuggalos out there who are new to the show can chime in with your chugga opinions. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, the people of the world, for whom We make this show every week. We wouldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you. You are the reason this community is the happiest, most fun place to argue on the entire internet. We will jump higher with you. We will run faster with you. We will pole vault over taller prison walls and do all kinds of other Looney Tunes activities because of you. So to you, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin, and don't worry, everybody.
We got this.
We got this.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows supported
directly
by you.